So guys, here I am right now at home. I'm at my mum's house at the moment. So what I'm doing over here is just learning to grow for myself, doing the best job that I can, trying to succeed, trying to do better for myself every single day. But now I want to speak from the mind. I just quit smoking and caffeine, and I'm learning to process my emotions much better. And I know that I can do it. I know that I can overcome anything I set my mind to. And I understand that my mum, for example, has no problems with me quitting drugs. You understand? She wants me to quit drugs. And now I don't do illegal drugs, I do the legal drugs like cigarettes, alcohol, caffeine. So that's why I just quit. I quit caffeine, I quit cigarettes, I quit alcohol, and all energy drinks. And soft drinks as well. So I'm not drinking soft drinks anymore. I'm learning to do better in every area of my life. So now all I have to tackle is veganism. And now veganism is something different for me over here in Australia. In terms of over here in Bosnia and Herzegovina with my mum, I see my mum is someone that I have to ask what to eat. For example, I have to ask her to be vegan. Yes, and the thing is that with my mum, it's much more how here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, I have to hold her hand. Yes, and it's like I cannot do anything alone. I cannot do anything without her. Yes, and but I can do anything without her. But it's just that she doesn't allow me to be me in terms of how I want to be. But it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, if I continue to do drugs, then veganism is not an option for me. It's only when you quit drugs totally that you can become vegan. Because veganism is something that only happens when you quit drugs. Yes, and you cannot do drugs and be a vegan. I promise you cannot do it. Yes, and it's very difficult. You understand? And the thing is that it's really easy to do it, but the thing is that most people don't understand information and how to get away in terms of how to get on with life in a way that they're helping themselves to grow. So what I'm doing now is helping myself to do better. I just wrote around 150 quotes into my PDF file over here, and I'm up to quote book 17. So I have to just grow. I have to learn to appreciate myself much more, and I'm ready. You understand? I'm ready to do better. And I see Artur Lukas, for example, this guy who's a Serbian singer. He goes to all these nightclubs and everything and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure if he's drinking alcohol and doing drugs while he's doing all this flying around places and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure the thing is that he's going to be losing in life. I'm pretty sure it's not the thing to do drugs and you're passionate at the same time. I mean, never ever do drugs and you're passionate at the same time. I promise you it doesn't go. But you need to be fully sober when you're singing something in front of a crowd. You have to understand that when you're life coaching people, you have to be sober. You understand? I mean, just yesterday I was drunk and I was doing a life coaching program. But the thing is that I came off across nicely. I thought I would be much more drunk than that. But the thing is that I was really tipsy. And you have to understand that I went to Sasha Matic. This guy is a singer in Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And the thing is that he sang good. I mean, he's blind, he has a wife and kids, and he has a beautiful wife. But the thing is that you have to grow. You have to learn to persuade yourself to do better. And you have to understand that you have to control the mind. You have to be able to control your mind, because if you don't control your mind's going to go nuts. Yes, and you have to discipline yourself, and you have to stay disciplined through life. You have to understand that life is a story. You understand? So what you make upon life is always going to count. You understand? So you have to understand there's always a way forward, and there's always a way that you can always do something to improve your life. You understand? So make sure that you stay away from masturbation as well, for example, because masturbation doesn't help you. I promise you it's pleasure activity. And what's the pleasure activity in life doesn't really help anyone grow. Do you understand? So make sure every single day of your life that you're not pleasuring yourself through food and drink, and that you're drinking less food and drink throughout time, and make sure that you eat less. You understand? Eat less and drink less throughout life. You understand? And that way you're going to live longer. That's what Tony Robbins taught me, and he taught me that the body makes up its own cholesterol and its own energy levels. And if you eat less food and drink throughout time, that you're going to live a longer life, because many of the foods and drinks out there are fertilized, which means that they're chemically processed through different machinery and stuff like that. So make sure that you understand that food and drink is not the way. Apparently it's not the way to live life, and many people get fat and they get really, really unhealthy, and they have to lose the weight. So right now I have all the energy in the world to be able to do my life coaching programs and to do what I do, for example. And that's something that helps me grow. But for now, I'm understanding that since I'm over here in Bosnia-Herzegovina in Mostar, it's much better for me to do an audio program right now, because it's much easier to upload online than it is to do a video program, because video programs over here take up memory in my phone, and it's much more difficult to upload it online. So what I do is the most effective way. So what's more effective for me is that when you're traveling alone somewhere or with your family, do an audio program here and there without your family members with you, and you'll learn something along the way. So for example, I've matured in a way that I am someone that I've never thought that I could be. You understand? I mean, 10 years ago, if you told me that I have 1,000 hours of live coaching online on YouTube, well, that's a dream come true for me, because there was a time in my life where I said every single day I want to do 1 hour program in terms of live coaching. Yes, and I'm achieving that currently. I have so much content that I want to provide for the world. I have so much information where I can always help myself to elaborate more on my story and who I am and what I went through and stuff like that. So for example, I understand that there was one time when I had chickenpox. And chickenpox, I have a mark next to my right eye, and I pulled out the chickenpox. I pulled out the pimple. There was a pimple like right next to my right eye over here, and I pulled out that pimple, and now it's scarred me. So make sure that when you get pimples, or when you get any type of chickenpox for your kids or anything and stuff like that, make sure that you never scratch the chickenpox and never scratch any pimples, because pimples can get worse. Yes, and so for example, those people who have acne, for example, they have acne because they're eating too much salt and they're eating too much unhealthy foods, and that's why they have all these pimples. Yes, and their diet is full of salt and it's full of oils. You understand? Oil makes you have acne, okay? So stay away from oils out there. Try to eat food that never you have to fry it. Never fry your food. Yes, and never boil your food. Get food that's already made for you. Yes, and don't go restaurants eating food at restaurants, and it's too expensive. In Australia, I never ever go to a restaurant to eat food because it's so expensive, guys. Apparently, it's like $30 for pasta. Just pasta, $30. For $30, I can eat for 3 days in Australia. And the thing is that now, since I'm actually doing greater, I understand that what's about to approach my life is something amazing. But it's a new opportunity, and what's an opportunity for me is to be a father. I'm going to be a father, guys. I'm going to be fathering children. And that's something of a dream come true for me. And now that's what I'm going to create that for myself, because my dad's passing away, and I'm going to have a funeral for my dad. I'm going to be at the funeral, and I want to be my best version when my dad passes away. And I want to do better, and I have to be in Australia anyway to be with my dad over here. So regardless of what's going on with my mum over here, I'm pretty sure my mum wants me to skip Australia and to just live with her, for example. So I have to be at the funeral for my dad. So that's why I'm going to be in Australia when that happens, and then I'm going to stay in Australia, and I'll have the Croatian passport by that time, and I'll have Mira as my support network, and I might be on the DSP, which is the Disability Support Pension, maybe, depending on what's happening. But then I have to start getting up early. I have to make sure that I wake up early every single day, go to bed early, you understand? Really, really work for my life, work it out in every single term, and just really, really grow, you understand? Because it's not about traveling anymore for me. I promise you, the thing is that, do I want to see anywhere around the world? I mean, the thing is, I want to travel, but I want to travel through my passions the most. And I'd rather do God's work, and I understand God's listening. I'd rather do God's work than travel the world. You understand? And the thing is that me, in terms of what I can produce, in terms of information, is so important to God. You have to understand, the thing is that God speaks through me. And God's always talking to me. I mean, God is always inside of me, everywhere. And the thing is that God always expresses himself through people. You understand? And if you told this to a psychiatrist, he'll put you on medication. So make sure that when you're around a psychiatrist, never mention God and never mention Jesus Christ and stuff like that. You understand? And when you're around people, for example, make sure you never mention Jesus Christ to them. You understand? And make sure they understand that people have different views on Jesus Christ and Muhammad and the prophets and stuff like that. And you understand? So people just want to argue with you. So for example, today, Toma and my mum, and Toma's my mum's boyfriend. I mean, they have to be right about everything. And if you tell them something, that they're going to try to argue with you. And the thing is that they don't listen to something that you say. Yes, and they have no idea about what they're talking about. Yes, and that's the thing about people. Don't try to teach them anything about life. Yes, and try to teach people online something about life. Around people, try to be silent much more. And I keep telling myself that, but then I don't do it. Yes, and the thing is that you must never ever teach people about life, because they're so stupid that they'll argue with you about that, and then you can start violence because of it. You understand? And the thing is that you must never start violence with anybody. And I feel like making music now, but the thing is that I want to be away from people. I want to be away from my mum at the moment. And why is that? Because I feel that I just want to grow alone. I want to be alone. I want to lock myself up in a room, and I just never want to get out. Do you understand? That's inside of me already. That's inside of my body. I'm talking about, I want to live inside. I want to go inside for help for everything I do. Yes, and because the answers to my life and everything that I am in life happens inside of me. Yes, and the surprising thing about life is that every single time I've done a life coaching audio program or video program or any kind of quote, I made it in a different way. You understand? But life is unlimited to the point of spirituality, but life is limited to the point of physicality. Yes, and the thing is that your body's always dying, so you have to make choices, and the best choices of food and drink for yourself every single day. So anyway, so the thing is that being alone is the best thing in life. Yes, and being alone helps you to grow. But some people cannot live alone. And I asked my mum's boyfriend recently, are you able to live alone? And he said no, that he's not able to live alone. And the thing is that he's unable to live alone, to be honest. And that's why he's with my mum. Yes, and the thing is that he doesn't have money. He doesn't have enough money to live alone. You understand? He has to keep working. That's the thing about Toma, that with my mum he gets a free life. You understand? And that's the thing that he's hiding from me. You understand? He doesn't want to say that, but I can see that. I can see it. And the thing is that now, since I'm having the government's money over here from the government for now, the thing is that, do I want to be on the government's payment for all my life? Probably no. Eventually I want to make my own money, and I just want to work. Yes, and I'm much more of a worker now than ever before. I'm much more able to work a 9-to-5 job than ever before, and I'm much more able to have a girlfriend now and to sit with her and discuss things and be able to help myself. But I have to feel good about myself. I have to get to the point that I feel good about myself and who I am. Yes, and because otherwise things go rock bottom for me. It's either you be your best version or nothing. When I'm my best version, I remember when I was my best version in life. Nobody could touch me. Yes, and nobody could touch me. Yes, and I was always in control of everything. But as soon as I started talking to my mum, she started to not convince me, but she started to demand from me that I become a meat eater. You understand? That I eat meat around her. And I don't resent her for that. You understand? And the thing is that I don't hate her for that. You understand? I don't have jealousy about that. The thing is that she just wants me to be much more successful about how she is. But she doesn't want me to be a vegan. You understand? My mum doesn't want me to be a vegan. You understand? That's her choice. But the thing is that I have a choice as well. And now she's going to get hit really hard when I tell her eventually that I want to be alone. That I want to live alone. And that I want to pay rent. I want to pay rent to live alone. You understand? And I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed eventually. And eventually I'm going to move from Australia. I'm going to save some money. And I'm going to have a Croatian passport. And I may get myself something in Croatia or something like that, depending on where I'm going in life and what I'm doing, depending on where I want to live. So what I want to do is I want to live in Australia. And I want to live in Australia, but I never want to get a mortgage to do anything around mortgage. You understand? I don't want to be in a mortgage. I don't want to be in a debt for anything. Do you understand? Because that's the way I live. Do you understand? And now what am I going to pass down to my kids? Just information. But Jesus Christ never passed down anything other than information to you. And that's exactly what I'm passing down. I'm pretty sure Jesus Christ never got himself into a mortgage rate. I'm pretty sure Jesus Christ never got himself into debt. You understand? Jesus Christ loaned some money from people to go, and I'm pretty sure actually Jesus Christ never even loaned money from people. You understand? Jesus Christ was never loaning money from anybody. I mean, you understand? But he has help. He has the 12 disciples to help him. And you need to have people around you who can help you. You have to surround yourself around people who can help you. Do you understand? Because the thing is that if you don't help yourself, then nobody can help you. You understand? So now, my brain right now is good. I don't feel that I'm craving anything. I'm not craving anything at the moment. I'm just willing to help myself to grow through communication with myself. And I have to understand that it's much more about living life to the fullest every single day for myself. But never smoke, guys. Never be a smoker, because it takes your breath away in a way that you can cause yourself emphysema. You can cause yourself all sorts of diseases. You understand? And I don't want you to die young. I want you to grow old. Yes, I want you to grow younger every day. You understand? And when I get back to Australia, I want to go hit the pools, and I want to exercise in the pool. But before I do that, I have to quit smoking. I have to quit caffeine. I have to quit the drugs in terms of legal drugs, and I have to do better for myself in that regard. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. So when I wake up in the morning, that's when I feel like killing myself. Yes, and that's truly when I feel like killing myself, because I feel groggy. I feel really, really irritated in the morning. Yes, and I feel that I need something to help myself to live life, and something outside of myself. Do you understand? It's like I'm reaching for outside for scraps of pleasure from cigarettes, from caffeine, from drink and food. Yes, and that's what kills me. Food and drink kills me. So stay away from it and delay food and drink as much as possible. You understand? And sometimes never eat with your family. Eat alone. I mean, you understand? Eat when you want to eat, and not because of somebody else who wants you to eat when they eat. You understand? So the thing is that I can teach my kids a lot of things, and I have an opportunity to do that. So it's much more how my mum is going to live a life, and she's going to eventually be alone, and she might find someone again, depending on the situation. But eventually she's going to sell that house again. So she wants to move, and she wants to get herself an apartment somewhere in Zadar, Croatia. And and eventually she's going to sell that as well, and then she's going to move back to Australia. I can see it. I can see my mum wants to move back to Australia, and she wants to die in Australia. I can see that. You understand? Because that's where I'm going to die. I'm going to die in Australia. You understand? And the thing is that I want to be in Australia all my life. And I want to travel here and there a bit alone. I'd rather go alone than anywhere else. And the thing is that I appreciate everything that God's done for me so far. And I'm still traveling right now with my mum and stuff like that. It feels good to travel here and there for now. But traveling in terms of that aspect of life is falling down for me. And what kind of aspect is that? It means that the physical traveling, you understand? Physically traveling is tiring, you understand? It's just so tiring, physically traveling. But when you're spiritually traveling, that's the best thing in life. Travel through spiritual ways, because that's the smartest aspect of life, when you actually travel through spirituality. You understand? And how do you travel through spirituality? Well, you create something. You give something. What can you give to other people? So what you can give to other people is your passion. You understand? I mean, other people go, for example, surfing. They go surfing, but what can they give to other people from surfing? They can give information. So sometimes other people like to clean. I mean, what can you give out of that? Yes, and what you can give a service. Maybe you want to provide a service to people for cleaning something, giving your time away and stuff like that. And make sure that you understand that people have to appreciate your time. They have to appreciate who you are. You understand? Because that's the only way of life. So when you actually grow, when you do things for yourself, when you're growing in a different way every single day, you have to learn to appreciate everything you have. And you have to understand that there's no time for smoking cigarettes. There's no time to do drugs. There's no time for that. You have to get physically fit, guys. You have to be physically fit, and you have to get to a better body weight every single day. And you need to train yourself. So it's going to take energy. Yes, and it's going to be effort to do that. Yes, and it's either you start improving yourself now, or you become homeless on the street. What do you want out of life? Yes, then I was homeless on the street for 4 days in my life. And it didn't feel good. I mean, you understand? It doesn't feel good to be homeless. You understand? I slept on the floor. I slept in the car. You understand? I didn't sleep at all. You understand? The thing is that you take yourself around places, and sometimes people don't want to be kind to you. You understand? The thing is that you don't expect people to be kind to you. You understand? You don't expect anything from other people. And don't go messaging these people online. You understand? Don't message them. Just go and do your work. Go mind your own business. And don't try to see what other people are doing in life. Try to just go and grow yourself. But if you want friends around you, if you want people around you, then you have to be willing to seek them out first. And if you want friends in your life, and if you want true friends in your life, you have to understand that you're going to be the truest friend in your life the most. But for example, with my mum, I have to reach out to my mum because I want her in my life. You understand? I have to reach out to my dad because I want him in my life. So who you want in your life is who you reach out to. Do you understand? It's just so simple. That's how you understand life. That's how you have to understand that. Before, I wasn't reaching out to some people because I didn't think that I wanted them in my life. But I do want them in my life. So what I do from now on is I reach out to those people who I want in my life. And from that point on, I just do what I do, you understand? And I help myself in this way. I just mind my own business, guys. I just go in my own way. But just because I go my own way doesn't mean that I ignore you. You understand? I do things for you, even though you don't see that. You understand? I give out information. But that's all you can give out. I promise you, every single day, try to do the most information work every day. Try to give as much information as possible every single day. And that way you'll be fulfilled in what you give. You understand? So if you understand, every single day that I do live coaching, I'm making sure that I'm getting smarter through everything I say and do. You understand? Because I've done more than other people in terms of information. You understand? And the thing is that you have to always do stuff more in terms of life. You have to help yourself to do more. And you have to talk more. And the more you talk, the better you are. So just appreciate yourself for that. Appreciate your ability. Appreciate the person you are every single day, and just make sure that you're just having fun. Have fun, guys. So for example, now I'm on holidays right now, but I'm still doing my work. I'm still doing my passions. I'm still doing my dreams. I'm still doing God's work. That's what I need to be doing in my life, because nothing else fulfills me except for God's work. And what is God's work to me? It's just information giving information. I promise you, it's either you can give music or information. In terms of words, what are you giving? In terms of images, you can give images, words, or music in life. You can give your time away, you can give money away, you can give things that you can give out, is what you do. And that is something that becomes your passion. I see my mother is much more of a word person than anything. She likes to give words the most. You understand? Torma likes to give words the most. You understand? My dad likes to give words the most. Yes, and so give other people freedom, and you shall have freedom. Yes, and what you give to other people is what you have. If you give riches to other people, you shall have riches also. What you give unto others is what you give unto yourself. Yes, and so every single day, give the most that you can of your heart every single day, and you shall never go wrong, and you shall never go right. You should go the way it is. You understand? So every single day, focus on yourself. Focus on the person you are and the person you want to be. And what I want to do is I want to download a photo of myself of how I used to be. And shall I do that, or shall I keep Jesus Christ photo? And I just want to understand, I just rather keep Jesus Christ photo because it has a better image to it. You understand? And then when I look at Jesus Christ photo, I'm understanding exactly what I'm attracting in my life. And then I want to keep Jesus Christ photo there because it means more to me than myself. And then so the thing is that Jesus Christ means more to me than anything in life, because he truly taught me things about life that I can appreciate. You understand? I promise you, Jesus Christ taught me more than I taught Jesus Christ. You understand? So every single day you have to understand that's how it is for everybody. So do I want to go anywhere around Mostar now? I promise you no. Promise you it's night time now in Mostar. I don't want to be going in the streets in the night. I have a curfew and stuff like that, so I'm getting back into the 1 hour rule. Yes, and this is the 1 p.m. rule. I mean, it's actually the 1 hour rule, which means 23 hours inside the house and 1 hour outside. So the thing is that tomorrow is going to be another day, and I'm going to tell my mum I want to rest up. I don't want to go to the swimming pools tomorrow, because I want to especially rest up. I want to rest up before I go and travel to Germany, because it's an 18-hour flight over there by car. Yes, and so the thing is that from Germany to Mostar is about 18-hour drive. It's 1,500 kilometers. So the thing is that in between we have breaks. We sit down, we have coffee, or whatever it is. But I'm not going to have coffee. I'm not going to drink coffee. On the way there, I'm going to do some work in the car, and I'm just going to process that information. But now's the time. Now's the time to improve. And I understand that when you do too much drugs in terms of smoking, drinking, and caffeine, then you lead yourself onto other things as well, like cocaine, like ecstasy, like methamphetamine, and then your image just falls apart. Yes, and I looked at myself in the mirror once. I was a drug addict. Yes, and I was really a drug addict. My face was not functional. I wasn't functioning properly. Yes, and I seen this woman, for example, and she's a bit chubby, but she's smoking cigarettes, and that's me too. I was chubby and smoking cigarettes. She was perfect for me. Yes, and she gave me this look. I was going to say something about bad luck. It's not the way. I promise you, God's providing me opportunities here, but the thing is that I'm not taking action upon them. And the thing is that it's not really an opportunity, but it is in a way. Do you understand? I mean, what's the chances that that woman's gonna chase me? Do you understand? But the thing is that, why not? I mean, I have so much information to give her. I have so much kindness that I can give to a woman. You understand? And the thing is that my mum tries to sometimes embarrass me. You understand? I just let it be. I understand words don't offend. Words don't offend me. I never get angry anymore. I never get angry at people. I live a life. I live some type of life. I do my own things every single day. I'm growing the most I can every single day. I'm doing the best I can. And that's the whole point. And the whole point is always keep the main point of life. You understand? Because every single day you have to grow. You have to outgrow yourself in everything you do. And you start to appreciate yourself that way. You appreciate the person you are, and you just grow. You understand? But now, since I'm over here, I see just grow. Just really speak out anything on your mind every single day. Talk out imagination, talk about your life, talk about what your plans are every single day. Just understand that my plans are to live alone long term, and to have a wife and kids, to be in Australia, to travel some more around the world a bit, and to work a 9-to-5 job, and to play poker here and there, and get away from poker eventually. You understand? Because I don't want to be going poker all the time. Go to the movies all my life, eventually get away from the movies, and just continue my life. Life's going really quick. I can see it. I see life is really, really going quick. And I have to enjoy this moment now, because tomorrow is not guaranteed for me. Yes, and so what I have to do is, God tells me that there's an opportunity for me to upload all my content before I pass away. Yes, and that's what God tells me in the mind. I want God to fulfill that for me. Yes, and I want God to please, please, please help me to overcome everything, and to also to upload all my information online before I pass away. Yes, and that's what God can fulfill for me. And once I do that, I just start living. I start living truly. Yes, and that's when I can also do things. But I don't have to wait until that moment. I can start living now. I can start living and being the person I want to be. But now, since I'm around a holiday break here, I want to be more with my mum. I want to appreciate my mum for who she is, and just grow and relax, and just tell her to quit smoking, tell her to quit caffeine, and trying to quit caffeine and all that. So it's more how I'm gonna discipline myself. I'm gonna do better for myself, and that's it. I promise you, that's all you can do. Yes, and eventually, once I get more confidence, once I get at least 1 month away from caffeine and cigarettes and alcohol, I promise you, then I'm going to try to build much more veganism type lifestyle. And that's better for me from now on, and that's my plan, that's my goal. Yes, and so it's not difficult. It's not really difficult for me to do that. I can see that it's really easy. All it takes is a bit of discipline and going through uncomfortableness and going through discomfort to get there. You understand? So if you are someone who's learning something around life, you have to be willing to grow, you have to be willing to learn, and you have to be willing to always succeed regardless of your choices and who you are and where you are going. You have to understand to help people, because that's the only way of life. You understand? So every single day focus on a greater way of life for yourself and other people, and just do what's on your mind. You understand? Do what is something that is helping you grow. You understand? So yeah, I see. I really want to start living alone, guys. I'm at that point in time where I don't want other people to be the boss of me. The thing is that it's much more how you have to get to that stage. And like, for example, many people at the 9 to 5 job have a boss who orders them around or tells them what to do around life. So for example, my mother wants me to go sleep early, wake up early, you understand? And I understand her. I understand exactly what she wants out of me. But she also goes to sleep early and wakes up early. And it's much more, she's just trying to coach me to do better. And for example, I'd rather live alone than with my mum, because I feel that I'm much more better overall living alone somewhere than with my mother. That's the way it is. Eventually you have to move out of your parents' house, because you don't want to always live with your parents, do you understand? You want to go have a separate lifestyle, go separate ways, eventually go see them on holidays and stuff like that. But the thing is that you have to start working. You have to start working for yourself. You have to make your own money. Do you understand? That's the way life is. And many people are trying to survive in life. I'm thriving in life at the moment because I'm not working that 9 to 5 job. And even if I was working that 9 to 5 job, I'd still be doing my work. I'd still be doing everything. But that 9 to 5 job is going to get me more money to live alone in Australia. And I'd rather do that than anything else. Do you understand? And the thing is that I'd rather rent for myself, because renting is something much more passionate, and I can go and live in different directions every single day. I'm understanding that when I rent an apartment, they give me an eviction notice. And that way I can go and just change lifestyles from one area to another and just live my life the way I want to live. But working overseas in terms of 9 to 5 overseas, I don't see myself doing that. If I'm going to work a 9 to 5 job, it's going to be in Australia. You understand? Because in Australia I have more money. I have much more money to do what I want to do. And I feel that it's necessary for me to go and grow myself to do the best I can. So it's much more how I find myself much more better now, because I quit smoking cigarettes, and I said that millions of times, and I kept on going back to cigarettes, you understand? But the thing is that this time's different, and now what I want to do is just grow. I want to help myself to explore life, to be the best version of myself. And am I over traveling right now? Apparently no. I still want to travel. But the thing is that I realized something about this traveling experience, that it's taught me something, that I'd rather be in Australia alone than traveling the world. And why is that? I'd rather be alone traveling somewhere than anything else in the world. And why is that? I promise you, it's because I feel that it's necessary for me to travel alone. But I've already done that, sorry. And it's much more how I want to settle down. I want to settle down somewhere. I want to start building a relationship with someone. I want to start improving myself. I want to start doing better in my life and stuff like that. But you have to be silent with people, and sometimes you have to understand that if someone's trying to get you angry, never get angry, because they're never trying to get you angry, okay? It's you that you have to understand in life, and you have to understand it's much more how you have to control your anger. You have to control yourself. My mum has no control over herself. She has no control over her anger. And my mum is like a moving vehicle with no wheels. You understand? That's my mum. And it's much more how she's actually a moving vehicle with no steering wheel. You understand? She has no handbrake in the car. You understand? And it's much more how she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know where she's going. Yes, and it's so simple. You can see it straight away. And now I want to talk about my mother because I see her plans for the future are exactly to get a new home, to move somewhere else, maybe to work a 9 to 5 job, to have me over there by her side, and stuff like that. And that's her life. I mean, internet, not teaching much people anything about life. Apparently she lives, let's say, a boring life. I mean, you understand, apparently my mum lives somewhat of a boring life. You understand? Apparently me, I don't live a boring life. I don't know what a boring life is. But my mum calls my life a boring life because she's so bored of herself that she calls other people boring. You understand? And she doesn't understand what I see. You understand? I don't live a boring life. I do my passions all the time. And that for me is never boring. But for her, my passions are boring. For her, it's so boring for me to do a life coaching program. You understand? For her, it's so boring to do music production. You understand? For her, everything's boring. You understand? So it's much more how you just never have to be around boring people and just enjoy yourself anyway. And is my mum a boring person? Actually, she's not a boring person, but sometimes she can get repetitive in her nature, and she's not a boring person to be around because she's always doing something. But the thing is that you have to understand that she calls other people boring. Like, what a life, she says. You understand? Like she has some kind of life going on. You understand? So the thing is that she likes to compare with herself with other people. And when I show her a woman and I say, is this woman beautiful? I mean, she rarely says that a woman's beautiful in life. You understand? I'm pretty sure all people are beautiful. But everyone has flaws to some extent. I've seen some guy and I've seen his legs. I mean, wow, you have to understand. Like, he has beautiful legs, but the thing is he's too skinny. He's too skinny. And I find myself much more attractive in my legs than he does with himself. But the thing is that it's much more how you must not compare with other people. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself. And try to outsmart you. Try to better your life. Try to be someone much more fashionable in your life to do the best you can for yourself. Because there's nothing else much more important than that. You have to understand that life's going fast, and if you're not doing life coaching programs, then you're doing nothing in life. I'm pretty sure you have to be teaching what your passions are. You have to be teaching something around life. And if you're not teaching on YouTube, and if you're not making an effort to succeed some way, then you have to understand that your life is not going to be much of an intriguing thing. And now women don't find my life interesting. And why is that? Because they see me first off as my self-image. They see my self-image and they say, oh, this guy doesn't live some kind of life. But it's much more how they don't see exactly that my life is very exciting. Apparently my life is full of traveling. Apparently my life is full of family. Apparently my life is full of passions. Apparently they don't see that. You understand? But I found meaning in my life. You understand? I found some meaning in my life through the words I said. You understand? And that's my happiness. And now kids over here are banging and stuff like that all night. So the thing is that it looks like I won't be going to sleep until they fall asleep. I mean, it's 10 o'clock and they're banging over there. So the thing is that now I just want to do my work then. And I just understand that my mum said over here to do my work and to go and do my passions and stuff like that. And that helps me to do my work and stuff like that. So the thing is that you have to always understand to never complain to people and never blame anyone in life, because outside circumstances show you the way. You understand? So the way is inside, and going inside of yourself for success, asking yourself a question and answering it, and making sure that you're always planning your life and to plan your future is what you need to do. That's what you need to do, guys. You have to understand that it's much more how it is. And I don't find my life that I will go to Croatia to live. I don't see myself living overseas. For example, I see myself living in Australia long term. And why is that? Apparently it's because of the situation I'm in. You know, saying I don't want to live with my mum, and I don't want to live in Europe alone. You know, saying I don't want to live in Europe alone. I'd rather live in Australia alone because I'm much more familiar with the place. So now I'm understanding exactly how I grew up around Australia. I grew up in those cities of Australia, for example. And what I can do when I come back to Australia is I can start traveling alone again. I can go alone somewhere around life, enjoy myself, do what I want to do. But once I come back to Australia, I'm going to be at home, sitting on my chair for 3 months. And I'm going to be doing my passions. I'm going to be doing my work. And time's going to pass me by very quickly. But I'm going to do more programs. I'm going to be able to finish all my uploading that I want to do, for example. And I will be able to achieve that for myself, where I put all my information on the internet. And then it's a new chapter for me from that point. And then I see, for example, overseas over here, I see there's no use for 3 phones, for example. I don't see a use for having 3 phones overseas with my mum. Apparently with my dad, I have a use for 3 phones, for example. I do business much better in Australia than I do with my mum. And I do God's work better in Australia than I do with my mum. Do you understand? So, for example, I understand that God wants me to go where I can do His work for Him. But I don't want to go to churches. I don't want to go to churches to preach to those people about God and Jesus Christ. I want to preach to you, God and Jesus Christ. I want to preach everywhere I can for free, where I don't have to do anything else other than better for myself. I want to do it for free. So the best way for free for me to preach God and Jesus Christ is on YouTube and on Instagram and on social media, because that's for free for me. But eventually I'm going to have to invest in internet, and I'm going to have to do that, because nothing in life is for free. Really, nothing's for free. Actually, everything's a given. But the thing is that you have to understand that it's much more affordable to have internet in your life than to never have it in your life. You understand? It's much more affordable to have more than to have less in life. So do what you will, but you have to understand that some people are missing out, and they're missing out on a great lifestyle. They're missing out on something much more fashionable where they can help themselves to do better. You understand? And they have to really realize that there's always a better way to move forward than what you have currently. So, for example, if you want to do better for yourself, you have to grow. You have to speak words of advice every single day. You have to do the most you can in terms of words, and you have to spread that out very quickly into the world. Yes, and that's what your job is, to do as much as possible, which is to grow people and to give them an experience about you. And your job is just to give people an experience of you. Yes, and that's what is your passion. That's your passion. Yes, and to give people much more of you. Yes, and to be much more of who you want to be. So, for example, now, since I'm actually growing, I'm actually in a better space of mind now. I want to help myself to do better for myself so I can live life and let it be that way. That's the way it is. You understand? So anyway, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed my program, and let's just do some more information every single day where we can grow and just be someone much more special for yourself. Wait for the information to come to you and then say it and speak it. You understand? That's how you do public speaking. That's how you do anything in the world. So what I want to do now is just grow. I want to help myself to do better around life, and yeah, just make sure every single day you do the most you can, every single day. So anyway, guys, so here I am back in Germany with my mum over here. And recently my mum got really angry at me because I was talking back to her. And you have to realize sometimes you have to not talk back to people so that they don't become angry. And also, it's more how my mum is like a car, for example, without a handbrake. She gets really angry if you are talking back to her, do you understand? And if you're talking much more words to her, she'll go crazy, do you understand? So make sure that you're never living like my mum, for example, and you have to understand that it's much more how I am at the peak of my life in terms of spirituality, and my spiritualness is growing every single day, but my physical body is dying. And now the reason that women are not going for me is because I'm not in a position right now to even handle a woman because they're not going for me, do you understand? But there are women out there who would go for me in terms of life. They would go for me because of either my money or either because of my self-image or whatever. And you have to understand that there's always someone out there for you. But don't rely upon that. I mean, you understand? I mean, don't go every single day trying to search for a woman or a man to complete you. What you need to do in life is you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on your dreams. You have to understand that your dreams are not going to chase you. You have to chase your dreams. Do you understand? You have to chase something higher than yourself. You have to every single day look toward the sky and make sure that you give value as much as possible. So, for example, I'm understanding that recently I had an argument with my mum. And then what I done was I sent her a message through WhatsApp. And now WhatsApp is an application you can use to message anyone around the world through free Wi-Fi. And it's the thing in 2022. So, for example, you must understand that in your time, probably WhatsApp is not much, but right now it's a lot. You understand? So, for example, you have to understand that you have to do something every single day where you can grow. For example, you have to understand that, for example, blind people are unable to do things by themselves as much. You understand that they need the support of others to live life. But so do you. You need the support of others to live life also. I realized something recently, that the best life that I can live is to live alone without my parents. You understand? And to work that 9 to 5 job in Australia and to just grow. You understand? That's the whole point. But for me to leave something behind for my kids, Branchi, all I can leave behind for them is my information. Branchi, that's even more important than leaving a house behind. Branchi, it's much more important to leave information behind for your kids than it is to leave a house behind or to leave them money behind. Because money and houses run out. Your kids may have 5 kids. I mean, how are you going to spread the money toward 5 kids of your house? So, for example, you may have a house or real estate, for example, that has 3 bedrooms in it, for example. And then your kid gets all the, let's say, the assets of your house. But then your kid has 5 kids. So how is your kid going to spread that money from the house that you lived in toward 5 kids? You understand? Eventually, your kids are going to have much more kids. And they're going to have to figure out to live on their own. Or they're going to have to make a house for themselves. You understand? So what you leave behind is information. And now my information that I leave behind goes to all my kids, to all kids for generations. You understand? It goes to everyone. And that's the whole point. So, for example, my mom asked me recently, why am I doing this? I mean, why am I life coaching, for example? I mean, why do I do my passions? And I said to her, I do it because it's my passion. I do it because I like to do it. I do it because I'm good at it. And I do it because someday maybe I have kids and I can leave something behind for my kids to read and stuff like that. But that's all you can do in life. I mean, all you can really do is leave as much information behind as possible and upload like crazy online. Upload every single day as much as possible so you can grow from what you live for. Do you understand? So right now I'm not living at my best potential. I know that. And the thing is that no woman can satisfy me right now. I mean, they can satisfy me in bed for a bit. You understand it? But the thing is that I don't need them to satisfy myself. You understand? I don't need a woman right now at the moment. You understand? Because I'm not ready for a relationship with another woman, except it's much more I'm ready to live, I'm ready to grow every single day spiritually, but I'm always ready to have a woman in my life spiritually. And now, my mother recently asked me, why would a woman go for me? And I said, my information. Broshi, that's it. Broshi, nothing else. But many women wouldn't go for my information anyway. Yes, and why is that? Because either they have husbands, either they have kids, or maybe they're older than me, or maybe they're a lot younger than me, or maybe they just don't want to go for my self-image, the way I look like, or the money in my bank account. Yes, and so life is a work in progress. Yes, and life is something that you have to do something throughout life, and you have to stay consistent at it. And the more consistent you stay at something that you love to do, the more you're going to get better in that aspect of life. Yes, and so in my aspect of life, it's life coaching and music production. So now, my music production is nothing like other people's music production. Yes, but it's better than yesterday from my point of view. So, my music production that I make and music that I make is much better today than it ever was, from my point of view. But from other people's point of view, I promise you it's not much. Yes, and it's not something that they will listen to over and over again, unless they want to. I mean, there are probably some people out there that like my music, but the thing is that my music is not on radio, and my music is not something big time for other people. Yes, and it's not popular. My music is not popular for other people. And now my life coaching also is not popular for other people. But the thing is that if you leave information behind, people will recognize you for your information. They'll recognize something about you that you like to do, and you stay consistent at it, and then you just give as much as possible, and you stay consistent at something, which is your passion. You understand? Many people have passions in life. Like, for example, maybe their family is their passion. Maybe life coaching or music production is their passion. Or maybe surfing or cleaning the room or whatever it is. People have passions. People have hobbies. And you need to always explain much more about what you're doing in daily life to other people. And you have to understand that when you do that, you're expressing yourself. You understand? Because your life is a story, and the better you can explain your story to other people, the better you are in terms of being able to. So, for example, recently there was some women on the boat with me, and I didn't want to say a word to them because I didn't want to attract attention. You understand? And the thing is that if you don't want to attract attention to yourself, that's your choice, and you can always have much more privacy this way. But the thing is that if you want to teach someone something, I promise you the best thing that you have to know is that you cannot teach anyone anything. You can only make them more aware about certain subjects. So you can make people much more aware of how to talk to you and how to please you and how to actually react to you. So for example, my mum over here, she doesn't mind how much I smoke cigarettes. She wants me to smoke as many packets as possible, for example, and she'll never get angry. You understand? But she gets angry if I order gin and tonic or some type of alcohol. She'll get angry unless she allows me to. Yes, and so for example, sometimes my mum will say, "Hey Danny, have a beer with Toma," which is her boyfriend. Yes, and then it's okay to have a beer when she wants me to. Yes, but the thing is that also Red Bulls. I mean, I drink sometimes a Red Bull, and you have to understand that she wants to allow me to drink it. You understand? But the thing is that sometimes I pick up a Red Bull and she says nothing. But other times when I go for Red Bull, she gets angry. Yes, and the thing is that my dad never gets angry. But you have to figure it out. You have to figure out and you have to figure out life. I'm pretty sure nobody in life has a better life than you. I'm pretty sure spiritually nobody has a better life than you. You understand? Because everyone's living the same life in a different way. You understand? And every single experience that you've ever been through is because of your choices and because of your experiences. But it is true that other people have lived life more than you, and also that other people have lived less of a life than you. So, for example, there are plenty of people who have died before 30 years of age. You understand? And that's an achievement for me to recognize that I have lived much more than other people. A little baby gets born and has to die right away. You understand? And never got a shot at life. So, for example, recently, yesterday, I was acting like I was blind, and I was going by the name of Sasha Matic, for example. And this guy, Sasha Matic, is a well-known singer. And what I recognize about him is that all he has time for, really, is to do his legacy, to actually provide his legacy much more. And now he's something solid in the Balkans. Apparently this guy is really, really popular in the Balkans. But in the English, apparently he's not popular at all. Apparently now, if you're going to do something in life, do it in English, because that way more people are going to understand you. And you're going to have a wide range of audiences who understand English, for example. And now those people who don't understand English in today's world never have the opportunity to become popular or as popular as other people. Yes, and today it's all done with English. Yes, and so, for example, I still have to go and read much more from other people and have to push myself to do that. But the thing is that you have to grow. You have to understand you have to always live life to the best ability that you can. And that's the thing about me. At the moment, I'm not living to the best potential that I can. But it's like I chose this situation. I chose to be in this moment. I chose to be in these kind of habits. I chose my life. You understand? I chose this kind of life for myself. So I cannot blame other people for it. I cannot blame anyone for my wrongdoings and for my right doings. Yes, and the thing is that nobody's wrong or right in life. Personally, you just are the way you are. So, for example, I lack so much. Yes, I lack muscles. I lack money. I lack a woman in my life. I lack kids. I lack communication skills. I lack everything in life. You understand? But the thing is that I have everything as well. And the thing is that I lack nothing at the same time. You understand? You don't lack anything in life, even though you do. You understand? The thing is that everyone's complete to the point that they are right now. So you are complete to the person you are right now. And you have to do something today that can change your life for the future. Yes, and you have to live a certain way every single day where you can always ignite your fire within you, where you can ignite that passion within you to live life to the best of your ability every single day. So if I'm not life coaching or if I'm not doing my passions, then I'm not doing anything in this world. Yes, then. So the thing is that all I can provide is words and information. Apparently, that's the best I can do. Yes, and the thing is that I'd rather do my life coaching and my way of life in terms of my passions much more than anything, and I'd rather make money on that. But the thing is that the universe is giving me money in other ways. So, for example, God's giving me disability support pension in Australia. You understand? And I'm receiving money from the government. But the thing is that eventually I want to be able to grow and just work a 9-to-5 job without the disability support pension in my life. Because I'm going through phases in life. I'm going through different phases. And I've never been in this position before. Yes, I've never been in this kind of way. So every single day you live life. I promise you, every single day is going to be a new day with new experiences, with new ways of life. Do you understand? And everyone's going to die someday. Do you understand? But the thing is that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You understand? So for example, you have to understand that you have to leave something behind for this world. Otherwise you're gonna be a nobody. You understand? I promise you, nobody doesn't leave something behind, doesn't leave a legacy. So for example, my grandpas, they didn't leave information behind in terms of teaching you something. You understand? But they left it through me. You understand? They left it through me. And the thing is that they didn't have YouTube back then. They didn't have internet back then to do these things. You understand? And my dada didn't get used to a phone, for example. Because they didn't have phones. You understand? And they grew up without phones. They grew up without internet. They grew up without television sets, for example. They grew up without phones. You understand? So these days you can get information faster. You can get education faster. You can get everything faster these days. You understand? But that's the new way of life. So you have to adapt to the new way of life and the new way of perspective. Because when you do that, you actually grow yourself to the best person that you can be. You understand? And everyone's living their life according to how they want to live it. You understand? So you have to live life according to what you're good at. You understand? You have to look at what you're good at and do what you're good at. So sometimes God doesn't provide for you in a way that you want Him to. You understand? But the thing is that God gives you something else to look forward to. You understand? So God's always giving you what you deserve. You understand? You're always giving yourself what you deserve out of life. I promise you, if you really, really wanted something, you would get it for yourself. So for example, Grant Cardone wants 8,000 units because that guy is crazy about real estate. You understand? He wants more real estate so he can be more richer. You understand? So he searches all his life for real estate. And he goes by plane all over the world so he can get real estate for himself. You understand? That's because he wants it. He wants to get it. And because he has the information to do it. You understand? So every single day you have to be learning something. You have to be reading everything daily as much as possible. Because if you're not reading, I'm pretty sure if you're not reading, you're standing still. You understand? So people who are not reading today are people who are dead. You understand? They're not living, really. You understand? So every single day you're always reading something. You're always getting information from the universe. So the universe is always shaping you into the person you want to be. You understand? But it's always your choice in terms of which direction you want to go in. You understand? So for example, if you are doing anything today to succeed, you have to be doing life. You have to be doing a great way of life for yourself and to make sure that you're always growing yourself the best way you can. Yes, and so if you're having an argument with someone, make sure you be much more silent with those people, because that way you will be able to grow. You'll be able to make people less angry. And that's the whole point of life. Never make someone angry. Yes, and if you understand that someone gets angry, make sure that you try to not get them angry. Yes, and that way you will do better with those people. You understand? But make sure you have a great attitude. Yes, and never ever argue with other people, because nobody listens in an argument. Yes, and between two people who argue, violence can start up. Yes, and the thing is that it's very stupid. I understand that. The thing is that violence happens easily, and everything happens easily in life. But you have to be doing life coaching. You have to be doing a greater way of life. You have to be doing something to succeed. Because if you're doing nothing to succeed, I promise you, then success isn't going to come around as much as possible. You understand? I see little kids, for example, I promise you, they are so happy with what they have. You understand? They have a mother, they have kids, I promise you, not kids, I mean, they have brothers and sisters, maybe. I promise you, other kids have just singleness. I promise you, they get to be single in life. I promise you, other kids are people who are poor. I promise you, they have no other way of life other than themselves. And the thing is that everyone's different. Everyone's living a different life, and everyone comes from different backgrounds and nationalities. Yes, and so you have to always recognize to provide as much for the universe as possible, and to be doing your work every single day is the best thing that you can do. Yes, and nothing else. Approach every single day. Just make sure that you're doing your work. Make sure that you're taking as many photos as possible, taking as many videos, as much information as possible. Make sure that you're growing from it. You understand? Make sure that you're living life to the best ability that you can, because that way you always grow. You understand? But every single day you grow, I promise you have to understand that you're always growing spiritually. Grow as much as you can. Grow as much as you can spiritually. But everyone's reality is different. So, for example, if you watch pornography and you see a certain situation with some people who are having sex, for example, I promise you that's not your reality. You understand? Your reality is something different. But porn provides you a reality of other people. You understand? On how they are living life. You understand? And that's good to see. And it's always good to see, like, for example, watch pornography as much as possible. You understand? Because you have to understand that when you do watch it, you understand what other people are going through. You understand? The thing is that you have to be people watching as much as possible. And that way, when you people watch, you get to understand yourself more. You get to understand your perspective much more than that. You understand? So every single day, you have to always understand that there's always a way to do something that you need to do to succeed. So, for example, I've been traveling so much for the past 33 days that I just want to rest. I just want to be at home. I want to be inside of myself. I want to grow. I want to have a break. You understand? But the thing is that I'm still growing. I'm still working in my break time. You understand? Because I need to. I need to be doing something to succeed. So that's what's important to me. I promise you, if I'm not explaining things for myself, and if I'm not teaching myself life, then I have nothing else to teach. You understand? I have to always be growing in the person I am. You understand? I have to always be doing something to succeed for myself. And sometimes you always need space from other people. You understand? You have to be alone sometimes to grow, because that's what life wants of you. I promise you, life wants of you everything that you can give. I promise you, what you can give is your taste, your medicine, your way of life. You understand? Because that's the only way of life. So every single day you have to understand that you have to go and do the best you can every single day. So if you grow from your life, and if you grow from the person you are, you always live life to the best potential that you can. Yes, and you live every single day the most you can and do the best you can. See guys, so what is the essence of life? You have to understand that if you're really going someplace where you recognize something in terms of words or in terms of images or in terms of anything that comes to your mind, you have to understand that life is full of abundance, and you can only go one way in life. You can only go the way of growth. So every single day I try to focus upon helping myself to succeed in some domain where I'm actually growing in terms of life. And because I grow in terms of who I am every single day, I always have something to say. Do you understand? Because life is like full of attractions, and you have to experience it. You have to experience life on a daily basis in a different way every single day. And you have to put yourself through discomfort to get to where you want to go. So, for example, if you're a smoker of a cigarette, or if you drink caffeine, or if you drink alcohol and whatever, in terms of if you do drugs and alcohol, or if you do any type of drug out there, you can overcome it. You can overcome anything you set your mind to, but you have to be motivated to succeed. You understand? Because that's the essence of life. The essence of life always says that if you really are willing to do something to succeed every single day, then you always have that nice and beautiful apostrophe in mind to say that, hey, enough is enough. You understand? Enough is going to take you somewhere. Do you understand? So right now I'm in Germany over here with my mum. And do I want to go back to Australia? I promise you in some way I do, because I do miss the life back there in Germany in terms of Australia. And what do I miss about Australia? It's just being alone with my dad. I mean, my dad gives me this experience where I get to be alone with him. And it's not really that I get to be alone with him. It's more I get to just be myself over there. But the thing is, I see how limiting it is as well to be with him. And the thing is that eventually I want to grow myself into the person I want to be. I want to go alone somewhere. I want to do something alone for myself to grow. I want to help myself to experience something I've never had in my life. And every single day, you always have to understand that life is full of choices. So if you are growing in a way that helps you to succeed, you're going to be able to recognize inside of yourself that there's always a better way than what you are saying right now. So for example, I drink some soy milk every single day, but my mum tells me, hey, don't drink so much soy milk. She's always explaining to me, don't drink as much soy milk as you do. Do you understand? Because I drink at least 2 liters of soy milk every single day, and sometimes 3 liters of soy milk. And the reason I do that is because of the plant protein. It fills me up every single day. I get the vitamins and nutrients I need. But maybe I'm drinking too much soy milk, for example. So that's the thing. I promise you have to understand that you have to experiment with foods and drinks with yourself to find a different path for yourself every single day. So I suggest that if you drink soy milk, drink at least one liter a day. And try to experience life for yourself. Try to go a different path to other people. Try to experience something that you've never done in life. Do you understand? And every single day is a different thing, but make sure that you always never make people wait for you. Make sure that other people are somebody in life, and make sure that you always growing people in terms of life. Everywhere you go, you have to always explain much more. You have to do much more. But the thing is that if I don't life coach and if I don't teach what I set out to do in my life, then everything is going backwards. So I have to always encourage my life to grow. I have to encourage people to grow themselves every single day, because that's what I do as a life coach. I make sure every single day that you guys have the best information in mind in terms of everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm successful at. I see so many people are not watching my YouTube videos and they're missing out on my information. You understand? I'm pretty sure I provide all the information they need. You understand? And you have to understand it's much more how I provide the spiritual information that they need. You understand? And the thing is that everything is growing and everything can grow without you, or you can always be someone in the world where people can grow with you. You understand? But the thing is that I want to leave a legacy behind. I want to do things around my passions much more. And now, is my passion to travel somewhere? I promise you, yeah. I promise you my passion is traveling as well. And just helping myself to grow in the moment and doing things on my own. Helping myself to go and grow life in terms of helping myself to overcome situations, become the best version of myself, do the best I can every single day. But that's what I set out to do every single day, is always try to level myself up. I try to always help myself to grow. And that's what I need to do all the time. Because sometimes I lack things like opportunity. And I don't lack opportunity, but the thing is that I like to attract myself the opportunity to do better. Because if you want to go through life, you have to be abundant, yes, and you have to be someone who explains for yourself something that's quite of quality in nature, where you can actually experience yourself the best way in life, where you can actually do something to succeed in life, where you're actually growing yourself in the moment. Do you understand? Because otherwise life is not worth it. I promise you, life is not worth it if you're not doing the best job you can. So you have to push yourself. You have to push yourself every single day to grow other people, to make sure that other people have what they need in terms of information from you. So what you have to do is you have to study. You have to study more. You have to read more. You understand? The more you read, the better you are. You understand? So it just goes like that. That's how it is. You understand? So every single day, try to always benefit other people through information. And when you do that, you actually grow yourself into the person you want to be. Do you understand? Because who you want to be is someone of a teacher to other people, someone who's actually coaching other people towards success, toward happiness, toward a better way of life. Do you understand? So what I'm doing now is I'm just uploading content as fast as possible to YouTube. And I've been doing it for about 4 months now. And I've been doing it for longer. I mean, I've been uploading information online for almost all my life. You understand? I'm still uploading information. But the thing is that I have to catch up into the person that I was in terms of yesterday. You understand? I have to go and do better for myself. I have to I have to experience life on a daily basis in the best kind of domain possible. And I have to do that on my own, because I don't need other people's help to get there. You know, all I need is myself to get there. I have to concentrate on a better way of life for myself, because that's the whole point of life. So what I suggest is, when you're doing an audio program, or when you're doing any type of program out there, use a pen and pencil or something like that, and use a pen or a pencil, and just like, for example, make sure that you're holding that pen or pencil in your hands, and just reflect upon life by moving the pen around while you talk. So right now I have a pen in my hand, and I'm just wavering it around. I'm just wavering the pen around while I'm talking to you. You understand? Because it just helps me to just communicate. You understand? So that's what you can do for yourself as well. And what you can understand is, like, for example, you can create anything that you want to create for yourself. You can make sure that you can create all your documentaries of everything that you've done. You can make videos, you can make it whatever you want to make. For example, you can post it up online as quickly as possible so that people can see. Yes, and so I have so much photos of myself that if I upload everything to the nice and beautiful YouTube, for example, all my photos and stuff like that into a video on YouTube, I promise you it's always going to stay like that. But the thing is that I promise you, is people going to watch it? I promise you, are people going to watch my stuff and my content? I promise you, yes, someone's going to be watching it. But as long as you upload things online, I promise you, you're never ever going to be going backwards. You understand? You're going to be going forwards. You understand? But the thing is, you have to be moving forwards with your habits. I promise your habits play a decent role in everything that you do. Because what you speak is what you are. And what you are is your destiny. You understand? And your destiny is what you make of it. You understand? It's something that you are speaking. So, for example, if you're doing drugs and alcohol, it's because you're talking those words. Do you understand? So you have to talk better words than that. You have to understand that. You have to go through different scenarios every single day. You have to experience life differently. And now, do I want to go see my mum's friends over there? I promise you it's a new experience. So why not go with my mum over here to go and experience something with her? But I want to experience being alone more. And I want to make sure I want to experience my life without my family as well. You understand? Because the thing is that there's only so much time with my family that I can have. You understand? And the thing is that I'm experiencing things on my own, everything in terms of every single day. But the thing is that every single day is going to be a different day. And I have to learn how to pronunciate myself into a better way of life. So I have to do my vocabulary. I have to do a greater way of dealing with my life on a daily basis. I have to push myself to grow. I have to push myself to communicate. You understand? Because that way, when I communicate something into the world, it happens to be. You understand? It happens to stay the way it is in terms of changing mindsets, in terms of helping people with confidence and courage and stuff like that. But if I'm not living that truth, then you have to understand, I still have to speak those words. I still have to talk it out like I understand something about life. Because something that I understand is something that I say, and something that I say is something that I don't know what it is. I understand that it's much more how I don't know what I'm saying in any of my videos or audio programs. But I like to talk. I like to talk anyway because someone understands me. You understand? Someone understands what I'm saying. In a sense, so the thing is that if I'm understanding of how I am and how I actually feel, and when I look inside of myself, and when I find the answer within myself to grow myself, I can see straight away my path. I can see exactly what I need to do on a daily basis to succeed. But the thing is now that since I came to my mum's house, I would have been worse off anyway in terms of food intake. Because over here with my mum, it's really difficult to get her to come to the shops with me every single day to get my daily needs met. Do you understand? Because she has a temper on her and she doesn't want to grow with me in terms of that aspect of life. And she's not willing to help me to become a vegan. You understand? I promise you, the thing is that there's only one way I can be a vegan, and that's a way from my family. You understand? I have to associate myself around myself and around better people. You understand? And that's the whole point. I promise you, the whole point is always to associate yourself to a better way, go a better way. Understand that there's always a way to fulfill yourself and your needs, but don't go backwards. Don't go backwards ever. And if you go backwards, self-reflect on everything. You understand? That's how you actually grow. You self-reflect upon your life. You self-reflect upon your experiences and stuff like that. So in the past 30 days, I experienced a lot of the things in terms of life. I experienced most of the things around Europe over here, and I'm still growing and I'm still going along with what I'm doing, for example, and I'm just growing in the moment, and I'm understanding exactly what I need to do to succeed, to get myself from one point to another. But it's more how just a pool of things. You have to understand that you have to grow yourself into that best version of yourself. You understand? Because that's where you want to be. You want to be in a better direction. You understand? You want to be someone much more convicting of who you are. You understand? And that's how you grow. You grow through better ways, through better way of thinking, through making sure that you can grow yourself into the best version of yourself is what you need to do. You understand? You have to grow into that person that you want to be. And that way you grow. You understand? You grow into that individual who is going to be better than yesterday in everything that you're saying and doing. And that way you get to experience things for yourself. You get to experience a better life. You understand much more about life, about what you want around life. And you have to understand that my life is the way it is because of the things that are happening in my life, because of everything that's going on in terms of life. I understand that it's much more how life is pulling me backwards. You understand? But the thing is that it's because I've been allowing it to pull me backwards. I have to allow things to happen. Do you understand? If I don't allow things to happen, then I'm resisting something. Do you understand? So I have to be able to allow myself to grow into the person I want to be. You understand? I have to allow it to happen. And that's the only way I can actually grow into the person that I want to be every single day. So if you want to make an impact in the world, or if you want to help yourself to do something much better for yourself, you have to grow with the times. You have to grow in the moment. And you have to understand that you have to have mentors who are teaching you every single day to do better in terms of something that you are capable of doing. You understand? Because life is every single day a magnificent thing. I promise you, it's being able to help yourself to grow sometimes, and every single day you have to always grow. You always have to be growing. But the thing is that life can get really boring if you have nothing to do. In a sense, so always do your passions anyway, and just make sure that when you do your passions, you record everything as much as possible, being able to put out your thoughts out there as much as possible, so that you can help other people who are in need of information and who need something that you are doing. You understand? And that way you always are able to succumb to something that's a much greater effect in your life, where you can actually grow, you can actually do whatever you want to do, you can go anywhere you want to go. You don't have to work that 9 to 5 job. You understand? You can always work on your passions every single day or every single minute. You can do whatever you want to do in life, and that's how you actually grow. You grow through better ways of thinking. You strategize your life around certain aspects of life every single day, doing the best job you can. You understand? That's what life is about. So if you are somebody that needs help with anything, guys, make sure that you're always searching up for that help, searching up for that information to seclude yourself into a better way of life. You understand? Because if you're not doing that, then life is going to get challenging. Life is going to be much more difficult for you to deliver. Do you understand? But it's going to be difficult for you to deliver if you're not speaking words, or if you're not encouraging yourself to do better in all aspects of life. In a sense, so every single day now, I'm understanding that what's coming up now in my life is different aspects of life, and I have to allow myself to grow. I have to allow myself to get into that best state that I can every single day, fighting for it. Yes, and I have to fight for it. I have to every single day. understand that there is a way to grow, and that there is a way for me to actually do my life in accordance to what I need to do it with. But I'm just 30 years of age. I have 1,800 videos on YouTube, and the thing is that I'm doing my work. I'm doing the things that I need to do. You understand? But the thing is that I'm dragging myself down along with it. You understand? But the thing is that I don't have to do that. I don't have to drag myself down. But I'm doing better than other people in some aspects. Do you understand? And I found my voice. I found something that I can always use toward a better way of life, toward something that helps me grow. But am I bored right now? I promise you I'm not bored. I understand that what I need to do is my content. I have to do my passions. I have to make sure every single day that I'm doing something in accordance to that. And I have to get around. I have to get around life in a better way. Because if I don't, I promise you life is going to get difficult. You understand? Life is not difficult for me now because I'm handling life in a better way, and sometimes in terms of some aspects. In terms of spiritual aspects, nothing gets to me in terms of spiritual aspects. But the thing is that in physical aspects, your body's always dying anyway. So make sure you're always as healthy as possible every single day, doing the best job you can for yourself. Yes, and that's what's important. Yes, and that's what gets you to the greener side. Yes, and so every single day you have to always grow yourself anyway, and you have to do better regardless of the situation. I see, guys. So I want to teach you the value of I understand that if I start my sentences with I and I end with I can teach whatever I want to teach. I can go anywhere I want to go. I can find some skills to say. I can do anything I want to say, and I can really explain much more about anything. So it's much more how you have to grow with the I. You have to understand to come back to the I when you speak. And once you do that for yourself, then you always realize that I is the most important language word in the whole dictionary, because the I can always explain much more about anything. So every single day that you really want to exist, or if you want to develop something of interest for yourself, you have to come back to the I. So I understand that my mother over here wants me to live with her. I understand it's not a bad decision to live with her, and it's also not a good decision to live with her. You understand? From two perspectives, I understand that from Australia, in terms of Australia's point of view, I understand I can be alone over here. I can live alone. I have to work that 9 to 5 job. I have to take care of the house on my own. I have to wash my own clothes and stuff like that. And the thing is that in Australia, it's different. I get to live that life that I always wanted to live. I get to be by myself, and I'm going to tell my mum that. And it's more how I'm just going to say, Mum, look, I understand that you want me to come to Germany and stuff like that so I can live with you. But I understand that here in Australia, I can live alone for myself. I can really try to live alone for myself, so I can really do a better way of life for myself over here. So I'm working a 9 to 5 job and stuff like that, so I can work a 9 to 5 job, so I can really develop myself and what I need to do. I understand. Then I just say to her that it's much more how I really want to do this for myself. I really want to make a family for myself in Australia and stuff like that. And my mum's gonna be like, "Why don't you do that with her over there?" And I'll be like, "I want to do it in Australia." And from that point, she will say, "Good luck and do what you want to do." And I'll just go my own way. You understand? And then I'll just be alone for a bit. And now I'm understanding that when I'm alone, when I'm too much alone, I need friends. I need people around me. You understand? But the thing is that I can always find friends in Toastmasters. I can go Toastmasters. I can go to dance recitals. I can go places where I can go and exercise and stuff like that. I can meet new friends. I can meet new people along the way, at work or anywhere around life. And I understand that it's much more how I'm actually growing myself in that point of view all the time. So I'm actually growing myself the best way I can. You understand? And that's what you guys need to do all the time. You have to understand to grow yourself the best way you can in any way you can. So if you want to learn something from me personally, then you have to grow with the words I say. And you have to understand that life is different for everybody. And every single day you're always going to be much more of a better person when you're growing. You understand? And that way you grow into the attitude you want to be. But my mum said something today, and she's like, Danny, you don't exercise. And now, do I exercise? I probably shouldn't know. I don't exercise much. And it's more how I don't have that will to exercise because the smoking of the cigarette has took my will away. And now, what sport do I want to get myself into? I promise you, it's more walking and more swimming. You understand? Much more of that. And it's much more how I have to keep going and exercising. Do you understand? And I have to understand that. So, for example, my mum says that, for example, I don't make much money for myself. I don't make a living for myself. And she says that you have no future in that. You understand? And the thing is that she's honest about that. That I have no future in that. You understand? And my future is somewhere else. But the thing is that I have to start earning my own money. I have to start growing my own money, and I have to really, really develop myself. But why isn't the universe giving me money for what, in terms of my work, in terms of my passions? And now the universe is giving me money through disability support pension, and I'm grateful for that. But is it enough to live life? Probably no. Probably actually, it might be enough to live life, but the thing is that it's a certain extent that you can live life up to. You can only live to a certain degree with that money. But if you go 9 to 5 job, you can make twice as more money, and you can live upon a greater way of life. But that's the way. That's the way it is. You have to understand that some people don't want to work. You understand? Some people are happy with where they're at in life, and you have to be happy with where you're at. But you have to do better than that. You understand? You have to be growing yourself in the point of direction where you can grow the best way you can in all areas. You understand? Because if you're not growing, you're actually dying. Do you understand? So every single day I'm understanding that what I want to do is perform at my best. I want to do my best job for everything that I do. And that's how I grow. You understand? I grow through the best ways that I can. And that's the best way I can do. See, guys, the truth of the matter is that you have to speak from the feelings. So your feelings matter. And something that you say from the feelings or from the heart, you have to understand that the feelings is the heart. You have to understand that your heart can overcome anything. So if you really want to quit something in terms of drugs out there, like cigarettes or caffeine or any type of drug out there, you have to be in the feelings. You have to understand that your feelings are never craving drugs. You're never craving the drugs ever. Nothing in your mind or anything that you are in life craves the drugs. But your will to do something that is drugs is because of your will. You have to understand that you're willing yourself to quit the drugs. You understand? You have to understand that you may be someone smoking cigarettes or doing drugs, for example. You have to understand that you are the one pushing yourself to do that. You understand? You're the one willing yourself. It's not your body. It's not your mind. Your mind's not craving the drugs. Your feelings are not craving the drugs. It's you who are craving the drugs. It's you who wants to fail in life. You understand? So if you want to really, really succeed, then you have to put your mindset into it. You have to understand that, for example, myself over here with my music production, I understand that my music production is not the best it can be. I understand it's not at the point where I want it to be. You understand? And also my life coaching, for example, is somewhere where I want it to be. And you have to understand it's much more how in my life coaching, there's always, apparently it's all ways of thinking. It's every single day, doing something every single day to help people to succeed one way or another. But the thing is that my life coaching is much better than my music production, because my music production, in terms of my music, can only take you so far in terms of experience. But the thing is that it takes you so far in terms of that experience. Do you understand? So the thing is that my life coaching is much better than my music production, because I can teach you the best ways of life. I can teach you anything that you want to know around life. I can teach you exactly what you need to find out, or anything in terms of interest, or anything in terms of life. And now I find myself in two steps over here. For example, with my mom and dad, I understand that my dad has some positive sides to him and also some negative. I realize my mom has some positive sides to her and negative sides. So I realize that my mom and dad are opposites, approach the opposite people. I mean, in a sense, so for example, some of my mom's qualities, I wish that in terms of that my dad had some of my mum's qualities and that my mum had some of my dad's qualities. But the thing is that now, since I'm over here with my mum, I'm having a good time, and I'm over here traveling with my mum and stuff like that. And I've been traveling hands-on for about 36 days right now. And the thing is, I'm having a good time, but the thing is that I've been killing myself with cigarettes. I've been killing myself with caffeine. And the thing is that I've been eating meat again and stuff like that. So the thing is that it's much more difficult for me to actually get to the point that I want to get to, because my mum is not willing to, let's say, help me to walk about life in a better way. You know what I'm saying? Now I have to hold her hand, but I don't have to hold her hand. That's the thing. Apparently, if I moved here with my mum, I can get internet for myself over here. I can get my own phone number. I can get my own internet. I can go about life. I can go to the shop. I can get something for myself to eat and stuff like that. And now it's just a slow process of recognition over here. I'm understanding that every single day that if I live with my mum, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay electricity bills. I don't have to pay the water. I don't have to pay for clothing because my mum will buy me clothing. And now you might find me unattractive like that. And you must understand that it's much more how that's if I live with my mum, because she wants to buy me clothes. I mean, she wants to do that for me. You understand? I don't ask her to. She just wants to do it for me. You understand? So if your mother or dad wants to buy you clothes and there's no ifs and buts about it, apparently you're gonna accept that, aren't you? Apparently it's more like, for example, when you're doing something in life and when someone wants you to succeed, you're gonna be able to accept that for yourself and you're gonna help yourself to grow anyway. So for example, my dad over here, he doesn't buy me clothes. Unfortunately, my mum buys me clothes. You understand? My dad doesn't buy me clothes because he doesn't have the money to. You understand? But the thing is that in Australia, I get a disability support pension over there and I can buy my own clothes. I can go to the shop, I can get my own clothes. It's no problem and stuff like that. And the thing is that my mum and dad do the washing of my clothes and stuff like that. And I don't ask them to. But the thing is that it's much more how they do it for me anyway. And the thing is that I don't need that type of thing in my life. I don't need people to wash my clothes because I chuck my clothes every week. I make sure I get myself new clothes every single week. You understand? But the thing is that if I told this to my mom, I'm pretty sure she'll go nuts about this. Do you understand? And the thing is that my dad also, apparently, he wouldn't go nuts, but he would say that you don't have the money to throw around and stuff like that. But the thing is that if you want to look brand new, you have to stay alone. You have to go alone in life. You have to, every single day, understand that you're better off without your parents than with your parents. You understand? And why is that? Because you have to think on your own feet. You have to make sure that when you go through life, you're actually going to say something that's going to help people to move in a certain direction. And then every single day that you put your words together or anything like that, when you really find that nice and beautiful melody going in your heart where you can actually grow people in some kind of way, that's the best thing about it. You understand? Because when you're doing something that you're so passionate about every single day, where you can actually grow yourself in terms of words or helping people in terms of words or any type of music that you make or anything, you have to believe in yourself fully. Because if you don't believe in yourself, I promise you other people won't believe in you. In a sense, so make sure that you accept yourself for who you are today. I mean, accept yourself totally, and just try to always benefit yourself in the way that you're growing yourself. You understand? So recently, I was listening to some music over here in Germany. I'm really feeling relaxed right now. I have a nice and beautiful life, but the thing is, I have no girlfriend, I have no wife, I have no kids, and that's the only thing that is missing in my life. I'm only 30 years of age though. And the thing is that I might not live to 31. You never know how life is going to go about for somebody. But the thing is that every single day is going to be challenging. Everything is going to be much better in terms of life if you really focus on a better way of life for yourself. And then you have to understand to always grow yourself in the moment and find that nice and beautiful way of life for yourself. See, so you have to be deserving of life. You have to understand that sometimes in life things don't go your way. Do you understand? That's been the case for me in my life. Things didn't go my way. Do you understand? And I have to accept that. I have to accept what's happening in my life. I have to accept totally what's going on in terms of how people are treating me. You understand? So, for example, I've been to the point where I've been my best version, and I got angry once, and then they put me on medication for no reason at all, other than that I got angry, and they don't even know the true story behind it, and they put me on medication. And that shows me that God's putting me on medication, and that something big is happening in my life that's pushing me in a direction. You understand? It's pushing me to be with my dad, maybe. In a sense, so maybe God wants me to be with my dad a bit more before I actually leave for Germany. You understand? So the thing is that once I get the papers for Germany and the Croatian papers, I'm going to tell my mum, hey mum, I want to be with dad for a bit more. I just want to be with dad for a bit more and stuff like that. And then I'm just going to keep being with my dad until he passes away. You understand? And the thing is that I love my dad a lot, and he's just one of a kind. But I love my mum a lot as well. And you have to understand that I have to pick a direction. It's either my mum or dad. You understand? And the thing is that I'd rather go with my dad right now. You understand? And the thing is that I haven't seen my mother in 5 years. And now it's been different with my mum over here, and it's much more. And my mother tells her how it is. I mean, she's been finding my flaws, and she's been telling me that how I haven't been exercising, I haven't been doing much around my life. You understand? And she doesn't understand my life, that I do a lot in terms of growth, in terms of information, and in terms of reading. And I don't do much, but I do a lot in terms of other ways. Yes, and she wants me just to be physically fit. She wants me to have a 9 to 5 job and nothing else. Yes, and that's all she wants for me. I'm pretty sure she wants me to lose weight. Yes, and the thing the thing is that she means good about me. She wants things to be good on my side. But the thing is that I need that to be good for myself. I need to actually grow in the person I am. You understand? Because I see somebody who has a wife and kids, and I just wonder how that person has a wife and kids. For example, I mean, how is he or she able to handle kids, for example, or able to handle each other in terms of circumstances? I mean, how are they able to move out and live a life together, for example? You understand? And is it easy to move out of your country or to move out of a space where you're so comfortable in? Apparently, no. Apparently, it's much more difficult to go to a new country and to start a new life for yourself. Apparently, it's a difficult thing to do. You understand? And the thing is that if you really, really expand your comfort zone, and if you go somewhere in new areas of life where you can grow and you can go and do your own things, and the thing is that you have to understand that is the best way. Apparently, the best thing about Europe is that I can travel alone throughout Europe, because everyone else speaks English over here. And you have to understand, people speak English all over the place. I mean, you can go wherever you want. But the thing is that how much money do you have in your bank account? That's the thing. How much money do you have in your bank account? And do you have internet in that country? Because without internet in that country, how are you going to get yourself around? I mean, how are you going to call a taxi? I mean, how are you going to, for example, navigate yourself around town? Do you understand? I mean, how are you going to get back into your hostel or hotel when you don't know where you're going? Do you understand? So the internet's over here, where I've been having no internet in my life over here with my mum. And I have internet, but the thing is I only have internet at home. You understand? I don't have internet on the go. And right now, do I need it? I probably no, I don't need it as much. You understand? The thing is that it's much more how I've been holding my mum's hand too much. And she's been feeding me food and stuff like that. And Jesus Christ says that's normal for a mother to really, really love me that much, to cook me food and stuff like that. But I don't need her to cook me food. You understand? I don't need her to wash my clothes. I don't need her to do all that for me. The thing is that right now I need her to actually wash my clothes, because the thing is that my money's right now I'm limited, and I can only go so far with the money I have at the moment. But the thing is that I remember when I was traveling Australia, I was so good. I was so amazing. You have to understand that I was such in a great space of mind. I wasn't smoking cigarettes. I wasn't drinking caffeine. I wasn't drinking alcohol. And I was vegan. You understand? And the thing is that it's easy to be a vegan. I promise you, for me, it's easy to be a vegan. But the thing is that it's much more difficult to go about being vegan around Europe, because you are in a different headspace of mind. For example, it's a different country, it's a different language, and you have to find all your necessities and stuff like that. It's not difficult to find if you really just spend hours and hours in the shops over there, and just really, really go through everything. Go and explore by yourself somewhere. I mean, go for a walk sometimes. Just go and explore the area for yourself, and just really, really try to find all those foods that you can make for yourself. But my mum tries to make me food all the time. She tries to make me everything for myself to grow. You know, she tries to make me so much food and drinks and stuff like that. She gets me all this stuff, in the understand. She spoils me a lot, and my dad doesn't spoil me, but my mum has more money than my dad. You understand? And now you have to understand that the thing is that I want to live alone. I want to go over there at my dad's house. I want to live with my dad and my parents until my dad passes away, and I want to be in Australia for a good amount of time, so that I can grow myself and so I can help myself to live life. So the thing is that that's the case, and that's going to be the case. I'm going to be on medications, and I'm going to be at my dad's house until I get off the medication. You understand? Until I get off the medication, I'll be at my dad's house, and I'll also get the Croatian passport and all that. But the thing is that what's going to happen in my life is I'm going to be at my dad's house until I get off the medication, because my mum cannot afford a psychiatrist and medication over here in Germany. Do you understand? And it's much better for me to be in Australia. So maybe God's saying, "Hey, Danny, be with your dad, because it's much better for you." Do you understand? And God's right. I mean, do you understand? God's always right. You understand? But God's not right nor wrong. God is. I mean, God is. I mean, God's something much more in life. Do you understand? So the thing is that people don't find me inspiring, and the thing is that I find myself inspiring to some degree. You understand? I'm pretty sure everyone's inspiring to some degree. You understand? But the thing is that my content doesn't attract people as much. And the thing is that I ask God for help over here. I ask God to send some people over to me so that they can find this information and stuff like that. But the thing is that I upload everything to YouTube as much as possible. I try to talk as much as possible, because those words are going to help someone. And that's what you guys have to understand, that when you're helping yourself and helping other people, I promise you there's nothing better than that. So the best thing you can do is provide information. You understand? Provide music, provide whatever you can. You understand? So you can inspire life. You understand? That's what you guys need to do. But you have to always invest in yourself. You have to invest in your mindset every single day. You have to understand every single day to read as much as possible. You understand? Because there's nothing better than that. I recently got myself YouTube Premium again, so I can listen to all my mentors and stuff like that again. And I have to catch up with Grant Cardone and stuff like that. I have to read from Tony Robbins and see what's going on around the world in terms of life, so I can help myself to gain information and stuff like that, to be up to date with everything. So it's much more how I have to read a lot. And the thing is that with my mum, there's little opportunity to read, for example, because I need to be with her. I need to be around myself over here. I have to be alone. And I enjoy much more of a life alone than with anybody else. I understand that. I don't need a woman right now. You understand? I don't need a woman. I don't need anything right now except myself. You understand? And God. I just need God and myself. You understand? And the thing is that once I understand that my mum passes away and my dad passes away, I'm going to be in a better headspace. I'm going to be in a better domain. You understand? And the thing is that I remember when I travelled around Australia, do you know how worth it was to go around Australia for me? I promise you, it was such a great experience. And I look back and I say, wow, I want to do it again. But this time I understand that Australia is different. I promise you, it's different going around Australia and stuff like that. And the thing is that around Australia, when I was going, I was experiencing things on my own. I wasn't smoking cigarettes, I wasn't drinking caffeine, I wasn't drinking alcohol. I was really, really taking care of myself. I was really, really without a mum and dad on the road, you understand? And the thing is that I learned so much around that, and I learned how to be away from my parents, you understand? And that's key skills that I learned for myself, how to actually dwell upon a better life. And now I understand that $26,000 of Australian money can get me around Australia for 1 year. You understand? It can get me around Australia for 1 year. But that's to be alone around Australia. You understand? So that's 1 year of work. I mean, 1 year of work to go around Australia for 1 year. You understand? You have to explore things. You have to grow from everything you're doing in life and stuff like that. But life is different. life is now much better for me in terms of some areas of life. I'm doing something that's passionate. I'm doing my own passions. I'm much better in life coaching than I am music production. And why is that? Because I can speak all the words of the dictionary, you understand? But with music production, somehow I get limited. I get limited to the point that I can create music. And why is that? Because I haven't watched other people make music much. You understand? I haven't learned from other people much how to make music. And I haven't learned from myself how to make music much. You understand? And the thing is that you have to dwell upon it much more, and you have to read much more about all that. You understand? You have to get yourself into it, and you have to really grow from everything that you're doing. You understand? Because that's how you grow. And I'm really, really proud of myself to some degree. You understand? But another part of me over here says that I need to grow. Do you understand? I have to grow the person I am. I have to become that version of myself that I always want to be and that I have been before. You understand? And I understand I'm getting back to that point. I'm getting into a better headspace of mind being alone. Do you understand? I understand it's much better to be alone than with anybody else, because that way you criticize your life. You are the only one controlling your life. You're the only one trying to control you. So that's why I suggest you guys remove all people from your life. I mean, remove your family from your life. I mean, that doesn't mean kill your family. I mean, don't kill anybody. But the thing is, just move away from your parents. Move away from other people. You understand? Go and get yourself a 9 to 5 job. Go and get yourself somewhere where you can get some money to live life, and understand that traveling is not all that. You understand? The thing is that when you travel through speaking words, you travel through watching images, you travel through silence, you travel through breathing. Do you understand? Try to actually understand that. That's the only traveling that's much more greater than any other images or anything in life. That's the greatest way of life, is to actually find yourself much more attractive every single day, doing the things that are going to help you grow. Do you understand? And that's what you need to do for yourself. You have to understand that my next meal is going to be soy milk with peanuts and also tofu. And I understand that's enough for me. Yes, and that's more than enough for me. And I'm going to tell my mum, tofu, nuts. I mean, if you want to make me salad, then that's it for tonight. You understand? And that's all I can understand. But the thing is that I understand much more than that. I understand that there is a life for me every single day, that if I want to speak words or anything like that, or if I want to help myself to do better for myself, I can. I can actually achieve whatever I set my mind to. You understand? So, if you want to achieve a greater life, I mean, what you can do is you can watch anything online while you actually do a documentary of whatever you're doing. You understand? Because that's the only way that you can actually help yourself to do better. So if you want to help yourself to shine in life, or if you want to do something that's really, really helping yourself to live a greater life for yourself, you're going to always be able to see that nice and beautiful step for yourself, because you're always going to be wishing for a better life. You understand? And that's what you guys need to be doing. You need to be able to grow from the person you are. Do you understand? So when you grow from the person you are, you live to the best potential that you can, and that's how you actually grow. So for example, you have to be doing your synonyms and antonyms every single day. You have to be reading more. You have to read more, because reading more helps you to find out much more about life. It helps you to navigate your life. So when you're reading more, for example, you just open up a new domain. You open up a new space of mind. You're actually finding much more things to do. You're actually growing yourself in the person that you want to be much more. And you actually find out things much more. Do you understand? You actually have much more information to live life. Do you understand? And that's how you actually grow. Do you understand? You grow through more information. You stimulate your mindset. You stimulate everything about you every single day. You make sure that life is on your side every single day, doing the things that you need to be doing. You understand? But the thing is that sometimes people are stuck in a 9 to 5 job, for example, and some people like that. I mean, some people like to be stuck in a 9 to 5 job. Some people like to be where they are and stuff like that. But the thing is that life is different for everybody. Everybody's making sure that they're always doing their own thing and stuff like that. And things are changing. I mean, people are changing. People are getting married. I mean, people are single. People are going around places. You understand? I mean, they're traveling to different areas of life. Yes, and the thing is that I've had an amazing time in Petrovac over here in Senagora, and I went to Omish, I went to other places of Mostar and stuff like that. I've seen nice and beautiful areas of life. But the thing is that once you get to travel much more and once you see much more of life, for example, I mean, you have to understand that many people don't travel much around life because of the situation of the economic situation and stuff like that. And they travel 2 weeks a year, you understand? And the thing is that you need to learn to grow yourself in the direction that you want to grow in. Yes, and you have to actually grow yourself in the best kind of domain possible every single day, doing the things that you need to be doing. Yes, and you have to understand that there's always a way forward, and you have to always grow yourself no matter what. So the best way that I grow, guys, is I read more information. Yes, and then I speak it out. So I speak out what I read. Yes, and I teach people what I read. You understand? And nothing else. You understand? That's the only thing that I do. I spread information. I read all the information and then I spread all the information. Do you understand? And that's the only thing that you can learn from. I mean, you can learn from being you. You can learn from everything in terms of what's happening in your life every single day. You can learn from your own experience. But if you're not really explaining your story much, if you're not explaining who you are on a daily basis, then you're missing out. Yes, and the thing is that my mum asks me a question over here and she says, why do you coach people when you know nothing? Yes, and the thing is that it's better to coach something out of life and it's better to teach you something than nothing. Yes, and the thing is that I know nothing about life, but I still teach because I understand that the more I teach, the more I grow. Yes, and that's the whole point of life. You have to understand it's an art form. Yes, and you have to create something for yourself. So I see so many people out there who are so successful in what they do that they're creating content based on what they're making money on. And the thing is that I'm doing it all for free. And my mum asks me and she says, oh, but you're making all this content, but you never make money on it. And the thing is that it's true, I don't make money on it, but the thing is that I make awareness out of it. Yes, and I make a lot of awareness out of it. I improve my attitude about it. I improve everything about me in terms of life. And I'm still here. I mean, I'm 30 years of age. I mean, imagine when I'm 76 or 80 years of age, how much more I'm going to be content creating. Yes, I'm going to be doing much more content. And I'm going to be creating much more for myself and my legacy. And I'm just going to grow my legacy and that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to do in this life other than grow your legacy. Do you understand? And I'd rather just grow my legacy every single day than do anything else. Do you understand? So every single day I have to always produce as much content as possible, speak out as much words as possible to feed information to people who need it. And people who lay on my YouTube channel or people who see me online somewhere, I promise you, the thing is that I spread that information really quickly. And because I spread the information really quickly, I mean, people get to understand me. I mean, people get to go across all boards every single day. They get to see stuff. I mean, they get to be who they want to be because of my information. Yes, and so the thing is that in my information, I mean, I can always speak to anyone. I can understand that I have to be much more enthusiastic around other people, and other people understand that it's much more. I have to be much more in terms of everything. You understand? But sometimes people find problems in you, and they say, "Oh, Danny, but you're not." I mean, they say to you, "Oh, but you're not as enthusiastic as I thought you would be," or I understand that sometimes people mix up your equation. I mean, they try to mix you up with how you feel in the moment. Do you understand? So, for example, my mum says to me, "Oh, Danny, you're not as enthusiastic as I thought you would be, or you're not cheerful, or you're not happy." You understand? But the thing is, I'm happy. Yes, I'm always happy. And the thing is that I'm happy with her. But the thing is that maybe my expression doesn't show it. But the thing is I'm happy with her. Yes, I'm happy with where I'm at. But I need to do better. And the thing is that I understand that I need to grow as a person every single day. And I understand that I have to self-reflect upon everything that's said and everything that's done in life, so that I can reinvent the wheel and so I can do things differently and so I can make an application so that everyone can grow. Yes, and that's my YouTube channel, for example. But it's better to have my YouTube channel than have nothing in it. You understand? I promise you, it's better to have a YouTube channel and to really grow your YouTube channel than to not do anything in life. You understand? So do something that you're passionate about every single day. Try to grow as much as possible so you can grow and reflect upon your life. You understand? That's what you need to do. But now since I see how my mum is over here, I'm understanding that she's got some negative things around her. You understand? I mean, she's not always positive. You understand? I mean, you have to understand she's always positive in the words she says. But the thing is that she's much more truthful than my dad. And my dad's not as truthful as my mum. But the thing is that it's much more how my dad and mum are equally truthful. You understand? I mean, the thing is that my mum says things about me that is just ringing a bell. You understand? It just rings a bell. And the thing is that what I do is I just stay silent, because the thing is that my mum sees exactly how I am, for example. I mean, she sees exactly how I exercise. I mean, she sees exactly what I do for a living. I mean, she sees exactly how much money is going in my pocket. And she sees exactly how I don't work a 9 to 5 job. She sees exactly that I'm on medication for schizophrenia. I mean, she sees everything about me. Do you understand? And then she criticizes me. You know, she says, she says stuff about me and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is that I have to improve, because that the truth is out. Yes, and the truth is out. I mean, I totally understand that. Yes, and I understand that my mum sees everything about me. I mean, everyone sees everything about me because I'm putting it up online anyway. So the thing is that it doesn't get me angry. You understand? Because I accept it. I accept the way I am. You understand? I accept that she understands that she can see everything about me. But the thing is that I can see everything about her too. I can see exactly what she has done and how she made her house and how she made everything happen for herself. You understand? The thing is that I'm not criticizing her for anything. You understand? The thing is that I'm positive about everything that's happened in my life and everything that's going to happen. You understand? The thing is that it's much more how now I see that she sees everything about me. And the thing is that everyone sees everything about me. You understand? Everyone in terms of the whole universe can see Danny Milivojevic and exactly what I am and how I am. And yes, I don't exercise much in life. I don't do weights. I don't do much of life in terms of other aspects. But what I do in life is what I am passionate about. Yes, and I do life coaching on a daily basis. I make music on a daily basis as much as I can. I watch images. I create quotes. I make writing materials and stuff like that. I try to improve my attitude as much as possible. And I've been doing my work. I've been doing the work that I set out to do. You understand? That's the work that I want to be doing all my life. And nobody can take that away from me. You understand? Nobody can take my passions away from me unless you kill me. You understand? And the thing is that all my content is up online now. Right now, everything's up online except my journal that I just wrote recently. But the thing is that it's much more how I'm always creating. I'm always creating something. Do you understand? I have to be creating something to live a life. Do you understand? But I know that my life is not perfect, and now I have to improve in terms of areas like exercise. I have to improve in terms of areas like quitting smoking, quitting caffeine, quitting meat, for example, quitting alcohol, for example. And I did quit alcohol recently. But the thing is that it's much more how I have to get myself back on term. I have to get myself back in a better term of conditions for myself to grow. Yes, and I have to get myself in a better space of mind. Yes, and to be able to handle a woman, to be able to handle kids, for example. I mean, that's a big responsibility. You understand? And now other people have taught themselves how to do that. You understand? Even before me. You understand? I mean, other people have been having sex much more than me and stuff like that. And the thing is that I'm happy with that. I'm happy with everything. I'm not resentful. I'm not a resentful person. I mean, if you have more than me, good luck. I mean, nobody can have more than me anyway. I'm pretty sure I have Jesus Christ in my life, and that's the most you can have in life. You understand? I mean, everything that other people have achieved in this lifetime, you can achieve in eternity. No worries. I mean, you can achieve everything in eternity. Do you understand? I mean, everything that's been blocking you in this life is going to be happening for you in eternity. I mean, you're going to be able to go wherever you want in eternity. You can always see this world in eternity. You can go anywhere for free. You can travel for free. You can do whatever you want for free. You can go. I mean, God's going to show us everything. You understand? I mean, God's going to show us everything that we missed out on. And God's going to give us what we missed out on. I mean, God will give us kids. I mean, God will give us everything that we want. I mean, what do we want? We can get it. Yes, and that's the thing. I mean, everyone's together. I mean, everything's together in this world. You understand? And in this world that I'm in is the eternity where God's living right now. I promise you, we have everything. I promise you, we have each other. Do you understand? So that's the whole point. So if you're really growing right now, you're growing because the spiritual aspects of life is what you need to be doing. Do you understand? And some people I see, for example, they sing and they're not good singers. Do you understand? But they're trying. Do you understand? And you have to try to succeed. You have to try to do something, to audition somewhere, to make sure that every single day you're doing the best job you can, so that you really live life. Do you understand? And that's the whole point of always helping yourself to succeed. Do you understand? So every single day, try to do your best. Try to live a life every single day the best way you can. I mean, that's all. I mean, that's everything I can give you, for example, at the moment. So every single day, just try to live life. Do you understand? That's what you need to do. I see, guys. So my mum took me to a river today, and you have to understand how hot it is. You have to understand that it's much more how I want to go sit at home. I want to sit in the shade somewhere, just want to relax. But the thing is that if you don't relax, you're much more stressed out. So if you want to do better, you have to always grow yourself in means of inspiration. So what I can do is I can go sit in the shade over there, and once I sit in the shade over there, I can do a life coaching audio program. And I just told my mum I'm going to go sit in the shade over there so I can do better. And I'll just do a life coaching program the whole time, because that's the best use of my time at the moment, to get away from my family. But do you guys know how much control my mum has over me? You have to understand, I give her power, for example. I give her control over me, and everything that she says, I just do it, because otherwise we argue. You know, the thing is that once you say no to my mum, she complains. She starts blaming you for your life. And you have to understand that you have to do better regardless. So you have to always grow yourself in means in terms of life, and you have to do better in all areas of life. So try to do as much audio programs as you can, so you can connect it all together, and so you can do better. So anyway, guys, here I am in the shade over here at a river, and I just told my mum and told my mum's boyfriend. I told them I'm going to go sit alone over here in the shade and just be alone, just to talk life coaching things, just to be able to recognize something for myself where I can grow as a person, where I can do something to do some life coaching, to teach something out there, to recognize a better way for myself. So if you really want to do better, guys, you have to understand it's much more about living life in the moment, every single day, learning how to persuade yourself to do better. That's what you guys need to do. And my mum has a lot of control over me, and it's more how I have to do what she says. You understand? Because she owns the roof that I live in, and when you live with my mum, it's like she's the boss of everything. You understand? Because if you start talking back to her and stuff like that, and behaving in a way that isn't according to what she wants, she gets angry. You understand? And you don't want to make my mum angry, otherwise she may kick you out of the house or may scream at you and stuff like that. So it's more how you have to grow regardless of the situation. You have to do better, and you have to always grow no matter what. So that's how it is. I see, guys, the only thing I can say now is just grow to the person you want to be every single day. Learn to disassociate from your thoughts, learn to observe your thoughts every single day, learn to do something better for yourself every single day, making sure that you're pronouncing your words better, helping yourself to live life in the best condition possible. But for myself now, I'm understanding that since I'm going downhill in life, I have to do better. I have to make sure that my life is much more of what it needs to be in the moment, and I have to talk it out. I ask God for guidance every single day,
And because I do, God always sends me some information or something that can help my life to succeed. And that's what I need always. I always need a better life. So that's how I succeed. I succeed by talking words every single day, learning to persuade myself to do better in all areas of life, making sure that I'm making something for myself in terms of content or any kind of words that I can give to people to help their life to succeed. That's what I do on a daily basis. And I help myself to live life on the best kind of term that I can every single day. Live in. That's what I need to do. So every single day is different, and I'm always loving my life to the best extent possible. So if you're someone who loves to succeed, then you have to do successful things for yourself every single day. You have to always put yourself in that position where you can actually grow. You understand? So right now I'm in Germany. I'm with my mum next to a river over here. And like there's a river in Germany over here. And I'm sitting down on my own so I can do a life coaching program while my mum is with my mum's boyfriend over there. And we're just like, it's very hot today. It's like 35 degrees Celsius. So I'm sitting in the shade so I can do better for myself. And you have to realize that if you want to help yourself to succeed, you have to do things that are successful every single day. You have to pronounce yourself into a better way of life. That's what you need to do.